200. The highest. The fastest. The steepest roller coaster on Earth. Even when you see it, you won't believe it. Get to the point.
Magnum XL 200 is one of the most polarizing coasters in the world. Some call it rough and painful, others saying the ride has character and great airtime moments. Opening in 1989, Magnum XL 200 was not built the same way coasters are built today. For example, the ride's airtime hills look like triangles compared to the perfectly shaped hills we see on modern coasters today. When Magnum opened back in 1989, it showed the world what a coaster could do. Nothing like it had been seen before. In today's video, I will be reviewing the world's tallest, fastest, and steepest roller coaster in the world. 32 years ago. As always, we will start off with the stats. Magnum has a height of 200 feet. I mean, it's literally in the name. Oh wait, no, 205 feet. Okay, I'm dumb. And reaches a top speed of 72 miles per hour with an angle of descent of 60 degrees and a track length of 5,106 feet. Some of you might absolutely scoff at the stats of this coaster, as most modern day coasters absolutely shit on this ride's stats. But keep in mind, it was made in 1989. One of the biggest complaints by many is how Magnum isn't glossy smooth and it's a bit bumpy. And again, this just has to do with the fact that technology wasn't as advanced back then. Even though Magnum is a steel coaster, the ride is actually bumpy. Not incredibly shaky like a wooden coaster, but more like a strong vibration. Many seem to hate this part about Magnum, but I love it as it gives the ride character. Others also don't like the weird profiling, such as the turnaround and the second hill on its way down. I also don't mind this because it isn't super painful, and again, it just adds to the character. The hills are also a triangle shape, which can violently eject you out of your seat when going over the crest, where at some points it actually even hurts.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my... Ah! Oh my god!
And I agree, it can hurt depending on what row you're sitting in, but it just adds to the ride. There isn't a ride with this violent airtime that can make your body slam so hard into the lap bar that it hurts. Well, except if you're a Skyrush hater. Now, let's break this layout down. The ride's first drop is 195 feet, delivering decent floater airtime if you're sitting in the back row. Even though it's only a 60-degree angle drop, it still gives good sustained floater airtime. You are floating out of your seat your whole way down. Then you rise up into this airtime hill that twists to the left at the end. It gives a strong pop of airtime at the beginning of the element, as it's kind of like a triangle, but for the rest of the hill, you just float on your way down. The ride then goes into the first of 3 tunnels and rises up into a triangle hill. And this is the first on a ride where the airtime is actually strong, and it can hurt as well due to it being so abrupt and violent. Then the ride goes into a turnaround, which is for sure the bumpiest part of the ride, that's no question about it, but it isn't that painful. Again, just adds to the ride's character. Then the ride goes into a smaller triangle hill enclosed by the second tunnel on the ride. This hill doesn't seem to be as crazy as the hill before the turnaround, but it still gives a really good flow ejector airtime, and same applies to the next one. Then the ride rises up and turns to the right and goes into the insane finale. The 4 back-to-back triangle hills that give airtime so powerful that it literally hurts, but I love it. The first 2 are really strong as they give a super strong pop of ejector airtime, but the last 2 are just crazy. They launch you so abruptly and so violently that it literally makes me scared. You are violently thrown out of your seat while you're cresting the hill, and at the bottom you just get thrown back into it. And the last one is in a tunnel with some cool effects too, which is cool because you don't really know what's going on, but then out of nowhere you're being violently ejected out of your seat. The tunnel even has mist inside of it sometimes. Then the ride hits the brakes. Very weird and uncommon layout, and the ride in general is something you won't experience anywhere else, which is why I like it so much. Even though it can be a bit painful and bumpy, it's just so unique for modern day coasters, and it gives a ride like no other. Many may disagree with this, but Magnum is actually one of my favorite roller coasters at Cedar Point, and is actually one of my favorites of all time, as the ride is super polarizing. Some either love it or hate it, but I love it. Also, if you want the craziest ride experience, also most painful, sit in the front row. When the train goes over some of those hills, it's just so violent how it launches you out of your seat. And I know what some are gonna say, what about the Magnum? Magic Seat, Car 1 Row 3. And it was super crazy and definitely lived up to being an insane ride experience, but there's just something about the front row that takes it to the next level. Instead of trying the Magic Seat, next time you ride Magnum, give it a shot in the front. But my favorite row to sit on Magnum is probably 17 or the back row. The reason is the airtime seems to be more sustained and it doesn't give just a super violent pop of airtime. And I know some are gonna be like, what? You don't want crazy airtime? And yeah, but the thing is, for the Magic Seat or the front row, the airtime is super violent and nuts, but it only lasts for about a second. In the back, it isn't nearly as violent, but the airtime is way more sustained. Well, that is my review for Magnum XL 200 at Cedar Point. I know this ride is not for everyone. Right now, you're either right along with me or punching your computer. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like, and if you want to see more POVs, reviews, and coaster rankings, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And make sure you comment down below whether you agree or disagree with me, and tell me your thoughts on Magnum. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one.